Folks, we are so blessed at One Rental at a Time to have a top 1% national agent talk to us each and every week. The one and only and the great Beth Traverso. How you doing, Beth?
Hi, I'm doing fantastic, Mike. It's so nice to be back here in the saddle with you and everybody.
Yes. Yes, yes. We have missed you. We have missed you.
Missed you
Uh,
too.
one one
Yeah.
thing I'd love to ask is what's been going on in King County? Because when I was gone, rates were 6.5, then they went sub 6, then they went over 7,
Yeah.
and
It's
people
been
are
an
getting rug
interesting
pulled with
time.
rates. What's going on?
I know. Yeah. So did were we gonna do we were gonna take a look at the stats a little bit, right?
We
So
will. We will in a minute. I just want to get a
yeah,
general
right. So
feel of
what
the
we're
last
seeing
5 weeks.
is so it's been really interesting what I'm seeing locally in my market, which is just outside Seattle in King County, Washington, is that the inventory is not there. That's the number one story that all the agents are talking about is we never got any bump in inventory. It still feels like December as far as inventory goes, where there's just very little on the market. Buyers are out. Not as many buyers as we used to have by a long shot. It's very different than a year ago where it was just total insanity. But there's fewer houses coming on the market for all the reasons that you've been talking about here for so long. The fact that people are there's this lock-in effect with rates and all those challenges that we've talked about, but we're not seeing the new listing inventory coming on. And so for those buyers that do want to buy, we're seeing almost two different segments of the market. There's the ones that are kind of shop worn that have been on the market for a long, long time before things started to heat up after New Year's. And New Year's is when things start to heat up around here. We've talked about how January, if there's a bump going to happen, happens in January, February. What we saw was the demand did bump, but the supply did not. And so we're seeing in some cases bidding wars, but the bidding wars are much different than they were a year ago. So bidding wars a year ago were a house hits the market, agents are strategizing with their buyers. There's probably going to be 20 offers on this house. What's it going to take to win? We have to go and escalate 20 to 30% over list price, release a giant earnest money, waive all contingencies. I don't miss that, honestly.
Unhealthy. It was unhealthy.
Unhealthy. We don't have that now, which is great. So what I'm seeing now is that good new listings are selling quickly, often within a couple few days. I'm starting to see offer review dates come back. So in our market, when it gets hotter, the offer review dates come on immediately. Once we start seeing multiple offers, agents will start saying, we're reviewing offers on Tuesday. Bring your best on Tuesday. And I even had a listing. It was a higher end listing, but it was beautiful lodge on the river with mountain views and had that wow factor. It was $2 million. We put that on the market last week and it did get multiple offers and did sell for over list price. So those types of properties with that special wow factor are going to sell really well. It's the houses that are in communities where there's a lot of identical homes, that those are the ones, especially the mid-price range ones, are suffering a little more. And over in Seattle, I've got a colleague over there that he just listed a kind of typical house in Seattle, in kind of central Seattle, that had 21 offers on it. And it was listed right around the median price, but it just shot up because there's nothing for sale. And it was cute. It was nothing, I don't think it was particularly special. So we got a lot.
It's really interesting because again, you have a playlist on my channel. It's just called Beth. People can go back and watch. But one thing you've been telling me is, again, in Seattle, a little different than most of the country, your bump comes in January, right? Most of the country starts in March. And oh, by the way, we're in March.
Yeah.
And Logan from Housing Wire just published his weekly housing track. And nationally speaking, Beth, we are down 11,000 active listings from last week. The inventory is just not coming. And the housing market is broken. So we're going to go into something and just see if King County is broken. We're going to ask for 4 numbers. So we're using a median price. And again, everybody can do this for their market. The reason Beth is showing you for King County is because you can copy this for your market. So Beth has told me that the median price is 800 grand. So the first thing, Beth, is I want a number of active listings, single family homes below 800K. How many do we have today?
So in King County, it's 543 active homes under 800,000, not counting condos, just residential.
Just house.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many pendings do we have, again, below 800K?
That we have 620 pendings. So
Wow, I'm seeing a pretty consistent theme because I just did
Mhm.
this with Omar. So
Yep.
let's now go 800 over active.
Yeah. So 800 and more is 1,041.
Okay. And now 800 over pending. And I'm just going to take a wild guess because I like to do this. 638.
824.
I was off.
I, it's still less, right? So you're
Yep.
still seeing that there's more sales happening on the low below the median than above.
Yep.
And we're
Exactly.
seeing
Yeah.
that too. Like that's where the parts of King County, like the north and south parts, where it tends to be below the median.
Mhm.
That's where we're seeing buyers losing out on multiple offers on the good ones. That's pretty routine.
Yeah. So again, if you're a first time home buyer in King County, right, you're fishing below 800, you're, 75% of the median, which is where a lot of first time home buyers are. It would not shock me that bidding wars are back, offer review dates. There's just no inventory. Why? Because the move up buyer's not moving. They're staying put. They got a
Yeah.
2.8% mortgage and they're like, screw you. I'm staying here until I die.
Oh, I know. I've had several clients that we've talked about where they would, in an ideal world, they'd like to move, but it just doesn't make sense for them
Yeah.
financially to do
I mean,
that.
think about it. You bought this home, you're up 300 grand. You're gonna sell it. You're gonna move all the equity into a new house, but your rate 7 versus 2. Your payment goes up 100%. How many people are signing up for a payment that's 2x?
Well, we
Not
see it in the
very
numbers
many.
here. People aren't doing that. So a lot of the sellers that I'm talking to right now that are preparing their house for sale, it's really common for them to be moving out of the area, or they
Yeah.
already moved out of the area and they don't need the house anymore and they've already moved a lot of the time.
Yeah. The
Or
other
they're
thing that I think will happen, Beth, sorry to cut you off, is accidental landlords. And what I mean by that is when they bought the house, they had no intention, but the rate is so good and rents are so high. They're like, I don't have to sell it. I'll rent it. So are you seeing
I
any of that
know.
or hearing about that?
It would make sense. I personally haven't been seeing that with the people that I'm talking with just because of their circumstances. They want to
Sure.
use that equity for their house in Arizona or wherever they're going.
Okay.
But it would make, I have advised some clients to consider that. I
Mm.
definitely say sometimes it makes more sense. I love when people can become
Yeah.
landlords because, hey, that's what I did and you did. And that's what we're talking about here on this channel. And I'm a big fan. So if you have a house that makes sense as a rental and your rate is locked in and it's low and fixed and you have positive cash flow,
Yeah. Why not? Right.
what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to that person going to Arizona in your example, because I think there's one thing that might be happening, and I could be wrong, right? They're going to sell their big place in King County. They're going to walk away with a bunch of equity. And what they're doing is they're paying cash for the Arizona place. So they're not debt constrained, right? They're not going from
Yeah.
3% debt to 7. They're like, I'm going from a mortgage payment to no
Mhm.
mortgage payment. Is that kind of what's happening maybe?
Yeah. The vast majority are paying cash for their new purchase. And that's what I'm seeing on a lot of my listings here too. People that, like, for example, the lodge on the river, that was cash buyers paying for,
Wow. Somebody
offering for
stroked a
that.
check for 2 million plus.
People are doing that.
Good
A
for
lot of
them.
times they sold their house, they have their equity, and other,
Yeah.
they're older, maybe retired folks that just have their nest egg and they're willing to
To plunk it down.
plunk it down for the right
Yeah.
place. And it's often to be closer to family, like they have kids nearby, they have
Sure.
grandkids nearby. That's worth more to them than anything. So they just
Yeah.
want to be close to family at this stage in their life. That's the theme that I'm seeing a lot. So
So would you say King County is a broken housing market like a lot of the country where one part is white hot, i.e. 543 active, 620 pending, and other part is noticeably slower? Sacramento, for example, Ryan Lundquist, shout out Ryan Lundquist on Twitter. They have 1 month of supply below the median, and they have 3 months of supply above the median. We are seeing such a bifurcation in the market today. Do you think King County's there, or maybe not to that extreme?
yeah, I mean it's there, but I don't think it's extreme as that. I think
Okay.
there is still, because King County is a big place. It has a lot of different markets in it, and my
Mm.
east side is going to be a lot different than say South King County, so it's hard to generalize like that. But I am seeing the crunch and the brokenness in the inventory, absolutely. But I am seeing the houses that are priced higher than the median are often selling really well too. But it just has to be You need to work as sellers, you need to work with an agent that's really, really savvy as far and astute with pricing and prep and marketing. Those skills make a difference. They always do, but especially now, you need to make sure that you're positioned well, that when buyers are picky and have their, have their choice of many properties to choose from, that yours needs to be the clear winner, especially if you're in a subdivision where there's maybe 10 houses that are just like yours. So you need to be very, very strategic in how you price, present it, and market the property. So
Yeah. Well, if you're looking to buy or sell in King County, you need to work with the best of the best, and that is Beth Traverso. How should they follow you, or how should they reach out?
easiest way to reach out is BethTraversogroup.com, and the spelling is down there in the corner. So if anybody wants to know how to do that, but yeah, or just Google me. I'm easy to find, and I'm on the Facebook group too, the ORAT Facebook group. So happy to
Awesome.
communicate with anybody there. Yeah.
Thank you so much.